Yeah, talking about Mother's Day, I was thinking to myself, I usually do a divine feminine talk and, you know, celebrate Mother's Day. I'll do something, but I'm so into this book, The Success Principles by Jack Canfield, that I think that it's just going to continue until I run out of principles. There are 64, but it's so great. So this month, we are exploring the idea of creating a successful life. However it is that you choose to define success. So over the past 2 weeks, this is the third one, we have described it in a variety of ways. But I want to give you yet another way to define it. This definition comes from one of our New Thought giants, Ralph Waldo Emerson. This is his description on success. To laugh often and much, to win the respect of intelligent people and the affection of children, to earn their appreciation of honest critics and endure the betrayal of false friends, to appreciate the beauty, to find the best in others, to leave the world a bit better, whether by a child having a child or a garden patch, or a redeemed social condition, to know even one life has breathed easier because you have lived. This is to have succeeded. How beautiful, how beautiful. So this quote goes back to one of our first principles of success, according to Jack Canfield. Success principles, how to get from where you are to where you want to be. Really great book. I think we have a couple more on the book table. So this has been our theme for the month. The success principle was to be on purpose, to show up in life on purpose. Wow. To show up with that. We just had, I digress as I usually do. Our ministry class had a special presentation on Thursday. We had a guest speaker. We went over to John and Veronica Parker's home, and John Parker, who's an extremely successful person in every area of his life, not just one, okay? He told us the two most important principles in success is confidence and positivity, period. Confidence and being a positive person, no matter what is going on around you. So, you know, that's important, to show up on purpose. All right. So, the two first principles that we discussed were joy and service. And then there was the Emerson quote that we've been using every week, and we will use it again today, later on. And one of the things to do then is to show up on purpose, like I said, but the other one is to be 100% responsible for your life. And that means truly stepping out of conscious mode, that victim consciousness mode. Stepping out and saying, this is what's going on, what can I do here? Making that choice right then and there, that equals the outcome. That equals E plus R equals O. Remember? Event plus response equals the outcome. And then the second thing that we talked about was to become our own inner coaches instead of our inner critics. To become our own inner coach. And then we were on the road. When we are on the road to succeeding or moving toward living, we used this quote from Thomas Edison. It's the one that I've shared each Sunday. If we did all the things that we are capable of doing, we would literally astound ourselves. So I want you to repeat this after I'm going to rephrase it. If I did all the things that I'm capable of doing, I would literally astound myself. So go ahead. If I did all the things I'm capable of And we also watched a video at that class about body language and being open. That's the most powerful thing you can do instead of sitting like this, is to be open. So that power position that we use is extremely commanding. Success principle right there. So that's our goal. That's our goal, is to recognize how astounding and amazing that we each are. To astound ourselves in every situation. And to support that today, we're going to explore 2 other success principles. And I'm putting them under the heading of celebrating success. So, success, there's 64, as I said, success principles. So this one's number 26. Acknowledge your positive past. So I'm going to get into that. But in Creative Mind and Success, Ernest Holmes, our founder, wrote this: in order to have success, we must first conceive it in our own thoughts. As Ernest would say, Ernest Holmes, we must have a mental equivalent. We must absolutely know what we want in order for the universe to deliver it. We cannot attract something we don't have a clear vision of. And a good way to conceive it in our own thoughts is to remember it and to consciously acknowledge it. Keep it always first and foremost. Don't be all over the place. Have that strong vision. That strong vision. Now, some of you might say, what's a positive past? Because we all have stories. We all have stories. And I ask you to think about one success from last week. Just from last week, in 1 week. Would it come easily to you? Or what if I asked you to think about one failure you had last week? Would that come easier to you? I won't ask you to share any of those, but they can come to us. The negative failures can come to us, what we perceive as failures, more easily than the positive, the successes. I don't want to get negative and positive, but the successes where we feel elated and open and joyful. So we tend to be, this is all because we have, in our past, we have tended to be programmed by the negative, if you know what I mean. I mean, they come much more easily to us than the victories. When we were little, you know, all of the good stuff that we did, was it celebrated? Or was then the negative, with the emotion attached to it, was that the dominant driver in your life? Because it's continuing now. So we need tools to undo that and to move forward in joy, in that positivity, and in success. So Canfield explains this in Success Principles. He says that as we were growing up, there were almost always more emotional intensity around our errors, mistakes, and failures than there were around our successes. Because the brain more easily remembers events that were accompanied by strong emotions, most people underestimate and underappreciate the number of successes they've had in relationship to the number of failures they've had. The sad truth is that we all have many more victories than failures. It's just that we set the bar too high for what we call success. And a lot of people, it's been drilled into them. You've got to be successful without really a complete explanation of that feeling state. You know, just the bar is about jobs. It's about, you know, moving ahead in life. It's about all of these things. It's not about being fulfilled, being happy, being joyful, having fun in life. That, to me, is the most successful way to live life, is to live it in joy, to live it and have a good time doing it. That's what I say. That's Margaret Palagye. So let's get real. Let's get real about the many successes in life that we've had. And we have had a lot, to be sure. We set the stage for greater and even greater success by recognizing our successes from the past. And why is this? It goes with the reading beautifully, because it impacts our self-esteem. Our self-esteem is one, how it's developed is as a young child. And if it's been really stomped on and trampled on, we're here now rebuilding it, uplifting it, so that we have great self-esteem and we really recognize the astounding beings that we truly are, each and every one of us. So anyway, let's go into Jack Canfield he's got the poker chip theory of success that I would like to explain. And this in the book is on page 196. Imagine for a moment that your self-esteem is like a stack of poker chips. Then imagine that you and I are playing a game of poker, and you have 10 chips, and I have 200 chips. Who do you think is going to play more conservatively in the game of poker? Yes, you are. If you lose 2 bets of 5 chips, you're out of the game. I can lose 5 chips 40 times before I'm out of the game. So I'm going to take more risks because I can afford to take the losses. Your level of self-esteem works the same way. The more self-esteem you have, the more risks you are willing to take. And research has shown over and over and over again that the more you acknowledge your past successes, the more confident you become in taking on and successfully accomplishing new ones. And then he continues a little bit more. You know that even if you fail, it won't destroy you, because your self-esteem is high. The more you risk, the more you win in life. The more shots you take, the more chances you have of scoring. Knowing that you have had successes in the past will give you that self-confidence, and you can have your successes in the future. It's about building that self-esteem, taking that step, and knowing that the universe always supports us in every way, keeping tunnel vision, if you will. Tunnel vision on success and the joy of living. And if you're feeling like there's no joy in life for me, there is. It's all within us. Everything that I'm talking about is within us. Everything is accessing it. So what we're going to do here is we're going to divide our lives. I'm going to give you a little exercise, however short or long. So from birth to whatever age you are, divide it into 3, right, in your head. Then list. Well, you have in your bulletin a piece of paper. If you need a pen, the ushers, one of them is asleep right now. The ushers, maybe she's deep in listening to me. The ushers are going to hand out a pen. Hold your hand up if you need one. Because this is what we're going to do. We're going to list, okay?
Thank you.
3 successes that you've had during each of those 3 time periods. And here's what I came up with for myself, and I did this really fast, because there's probably a whole lot more. So from 0 to 20, I learned how to ride a bike. I immigrated to America. I won a scholarship to New York City Community College. From ages 21 to 40, I gave birth to my 2 sons, earned my black belt in Taekwondo, moved to New Jersey, which I consider successful. Ages 41 to 61, became an ordained religious science minister. danced on broken glass, founded our spiritual community, Joyful Gathering Spiritual Center. So those are just like some of the things that you can write down on this. So what I want us to take a few minutes this morning and actually do this exercise, because I suspect that if I give it to you as homework, no one's going to do it. Or maybe 2 people will. 2 people will do it. Everyone else would have lost the paper or something. So I want us to do it now in here. And it's about seeing how you can celebrate your past successes and encourage future successes. So you have the handout. Divide your age into thirds. Write 3 things successfully accomplished in each of the trimesters of your life. So just take a few minutes right now to do so.